no seguiré caminando en topper y joguineta. Y si te vienen tratando entre algodones, una aspirineta vencida te regala nociones. Y un poco sí porque también la extraño, y un poco no lo puedo dejar. Y un poco sí, un poco no, un poco sí también, un poco sí, coco no. En avenidas un poco sí, un poco no, coco sí también. En avenidas. Los Walkman vienen tirando aureolas. La calle es la pista, Araos, Nicaragua, sandinista. Voy recogiendo el lindo sol que tira fleres, el ritual burgués que me mantiene con placer. Como te ven, te maltratan, a la primera te sacan, pero en avenidas podés caminar. Un poco sí, un poco no, un coco sí también, un poco sí, coco no. En avenidas un poco sí, un poco no, coco sí también. En avenidas.
No, I'm not starting. I am just telling that we'll start in 5 minutes. Okay, hello, how are you today? We will start in 4 minutes, okay? Because we're waiting for some people that is coming. Okay.
Y un poco no lo puedo dejar. Un poco sí, un poco no, un coco sí también, un poco sí, coco no. En avenidas un poco sí, un poco no, coco sí también. En avenidas, en avenidas, en avenidas, en avenidas.
4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this celebration. As you know, this year we're celebrating the 25 years anniversary of Salle Technova. And we want to take advantage that Jerry is in the town, in the city, to celebrate with him. And really, Jerry, you know very well, because you were participating in a lot of things with Technova, that La Salle decided to create the park in the year 2001. Brother Daniel was very open in that moment, was telling me, Joseph, if you believe that makes sense to do beyond education and research, entrepreneurship, go ahead. And what's incredible, how also with Paco Soleparayara, you know, the professor of the UPC, working and thinking, how can we be an entrepreneurial university? And we remember very well how in the year 2004, I knocked the door of your office. The door of the office of Jerry always was open, is open. It's very interesting in Silicon Valley how they have always opened the door for whoever needs and whoever can help. And what's really very interesting to say, Joseph, this is about entrepreneurship, but this is about celebration. What it means? What we're talking about startups, technology, finance, no. Celebration, because celebration is culture. And celebration is recognizing whoever is doing the things that you want to follow them. And that's what we are doing now. We are celebrating 25 years, working together for achieving to be an entrepreneurial university. By the way, the unique entrepreneurial university in Catalonia, recognized from ACO, but also a university that is combining the best of the engineering, the business, philosophy, and architecture. Today, we have an incredible opportunity to listen from you how is running Silicon Valley, how is running the clusters of innovation, how is developing the ecosystems of innovation in Silicon Valley, how also we like to listen how AI is impacting in Silicon Valley. And also you have the opportunity, and we have the opportunity to listen first a panel of people that were working in Technova 20 years, Xavi, 15 years ago. They were younger, now they are still young. But it was very nice to see how Technova, La Salle was an incubator, not only of startups, also was an incubator of managers of ecosystems of innovation. La Caixa was hiring everybody at La Salle because was finding at La Salle the place to identify who could manage venture capital firms, and we have people that now is managing venture capital firms, funds for 400 million euros, that's good, and also others that are managing and leading innovation. And also we have another roundtable talking about the reality of now, startups that are now created in our university, and we'll listen how they are facing the challenges and how they are working. Good, but the first slot of the knowledge that we want to provide is a mega masterclass, because you are a doctor, Honoris Causa, from our university. How really AI and entrepreneurship journey, it means how is this journey and how the AI is impacting us. Let me ask you to welcome Jerome Engel to the stage. Thank you, Jerry.
You're so kind, Joseph. So my timer I'm setting, now just so you know, I've asked them to turn off the official timer because I would take care of myself. And now my timer just added a half hour extra. I promise not to abuse it. Start. Oh well. Don't rely on tools. Rely on yourself. Why do I want to talk to you about artificial intelligence? Well, the only thing we know about artificial intelligence is that it's certainly artificial, but we're not really sure whether it's intelligence or not. The entrepreneur's journey from campus to venture, that's a separate topic, which is core to what I really want to talk about today. And AI is only a stimulus for that discussion. Because intrinsic in this entrepreneur's journey is identifying opportunity. And opportunity is a problem. Jerry, I don't understand that. How is opportunity a problem? Well, if there's no problem, there's no opportunity, right? We can agree with that. You need to have a problem to solve. That problem has to be a substantial problem for the person who has it, so that you can extract value by providing value. And it has to be a problem for a population that's large enough and hopefully growing. Because a growing population with a problem is a growing marketplace. And in order to enter that marketplace with momentum, you need support. And a great place to get your initial support is, if you will, campus, broadly defined. Campus here is this wonderful university. Campuses are also our communities. In other words, where we are entrenched, where people know us. And those are the resources, those are the relationships that will help us not only get started, but to scale and grow. And those are all the things we're going to discuss with our panel today. Before I get into my remarks, I want to thank our hosts at the university, but in specific, I want to thank Joseph Piquet. We'll talk more, perhaps later, about Joseph's accomplishments and contributions, but I cannot get started without recognizing what he's done to facilitate my personal journey, not just to here, to this wonderful city and this wonderful university, but also in helping me recognize the problem and the opportunity that I've learned to address as a faculty member over my career. So thank you, Joseph. So, lovely picture. What's behind the picture is a lot of words. And those of you that have learned about me and with me over the years know that I do things in academia. You know that I've done things in the real world to give me engagement, that linkage between the knowledge of practice and the knowledge of academia, which is indeed the framework that helps multiply that practical knowledge. This is the place that I've principally anchored myself. The reason I put this slide up is because we all anchor ourselves in community, and the University of California, for good or bad, and mostly for good in my life, has been the place I've anchored my springboard. So the university has been a wonderful place to be. One, because it's globally recognized as a strong academic institution, being rated the #1 public university, public meaning funded by the public, by taxation, etc., and also by student tuition. But it's a state university, as different from Harvard or Stanford. So it's like Michigan, University of Michigan and others that are state universities. And something that that university has evolved in my tenure there that I'm very proud of is more recently, in the last 3 to 4 years, it's been recognized for being a platform for entrepreneurship. Now, the university didn't necessarily change anything it had been doing. I think it had, but the point is it had recognized the importance of bringing theory into practice and started to talk about it as a principal mission of the university, and that's resulted in the community appreciating that and therefore giving it more resources for that. So that's the kind of transition I've seen here at this university. Under your leadership, under your experiments, under your practice of taking theory to practice and practice to theory and making them connect. So, what are the elements of that? Many of you in the room are represented on this slide by the population of students. Because it's not knowledge alone that moves the needle. Mostly it's humans with a need and a desire and the talent to recognize opportunity and to look for opportunities that are powerful and can scale. They're supported by the institution, by the buildings, by the research labs, by the incubators, and they're supported by activities. That's what that chart represents to me. They also have a direction. And that direction is this process of recognizing need and bringing value, and I would call that innovation. So today we're going to talk about the challenge of where we are right now, we're going to talk about the opportunity of creating value, and we're going to talk about the strategies to put that to work in the context of this very precious moment, which is a revolution. Now, these revolutions have come and gone. They're ongoing. There will be future revolutions. But if we just look at the space of IT, you could say, well, there's been enterprise software and software as a service, and then AI as a guidance tool, a co-pilot, and ultimately an agent. And these are the transitions of the last 50 years. In the consumer space, we know this as the internet, email, e-commerce, then mobility and apps, location-based services. And now we're experimenting with our AI companions. We've all tried that, and we're all going to do much more of it. And as we're going to see on our panel this afternoon, we're learning to have AI personal agents or assistants. So these kinds of cycles recur, and they occur faster and faster and faster, and much has been written about that. But the AI revolution is so real because you see it every day. You confront it. I confront it by reading the newspaper. This is the New York Times, which is the paper of record, if you will, in the United States. And I'm reading February 15, just 2 months ago. And I'm reading about somebody who's 85 and has found companionship in their co-pilot or robot. Okay, wow, that's on the front page. Oh, that's pretty important. And then I flip to the business section, and I see how Ford has a factory that's underutilized, and they're stripping out that factory and repurposing it to be a compute platform for AI to provide the backbone. And then I see that the lawmakers in the same paper are changing the regulations to allow such reuse and repurposing free from regulation. And then I see the academics saying, you know what, AI is old news. We're topping out. That large language models are, at their incrementally, sort of flat level of performance. We're going to get incremental enhancement, and we have to move beyond large language models before half of us has even learned to use them. This is all in one day's newspaper. When you see this level of news coverage, newsprint, column inches, dedicating from the optimistic to the pessimistic to the pragmatic in the middle, you're in a revolution. So, did this happen overnight? No. This is a summary that my colleagues at Stanford and market researchers put together, but show the timeline starting in 1950 and then the AI winter where nobody wanted to talk about AI because we essentially knew all the science, but we didn't have the ability to scale it. And then, incrementally until we had the launch of ChatGPT, which revolutionized the world, not because it was capable in a different way, but because it was released open source to the world. And people grabbed it and put it to work. And the impact of it was, not expected. It was so amazing. It took 2 months to achieve what Netflix took 10 years to achieve. It took 2 months to achieve what TikTok took 3.5 years to achieve in terms of penetration. And so whether you're looking at household penetrations in the United States, we all see this kind of momentum that one could say is a bubble. But the thing we learn from bubbles of the past is that while the stock market may have its bubbles, adoption is not a bubble. So even if stock market values, all these companies are going to go public this year, they're going to be the biggest public offerings in record, they'll probably do very well. But if they ultimately lose value, like we did in the dot-com bubble, that didn't kill the internet. Adoption continued and was persistent. So this AI moment is a capability-focused type of platform. It's not a market segmentation. And the tipping point, if we're going to recognize challenges, was apparent in 2015 when we were looking at existing AI systems being deployed in healthcare. And you knew it was a tipping point when you did the same heat map a year later, and you weren't just seeing it in healthcare and advertising, but you were beginning to see AI penetrate all the industries. And now you know at a tipping point, because popular culture builds personalities and builds recognition and talk about it to the point where people are saying, well, we're going to need universal income to support all the people that are going to be displaced. So how do you sense this tipping point? Take another day in the New York Times, April 23rd. Well, you open the newspaper and you see, well, Anthropic's code has been leaked. It's now open source and unprotected. The Chinese DeepSeek started that way. And then you begin to recognize, well, is it so bad that it's now available? Is it so bad that it's open source? Is that going to accelerate, not destroy, the business model? Same day's paper, SpaceX decides, well, it's not enough to be a space company. We have to actually adopt AI as a core element of our mission, because the opportunity for space all of a sudden is to put compute in orbit. We put compute in orbit, the power's up there as solar, and we can distribute the bandwidth with radio communications. So SpaceX public offering is going to be an AI offering. AI infrastructure deployed in space. Same day's paper, Musk is obviously giving up Mars. So you see that this path to speed and scale is essential. It's not enough just to discover the opportunity. It's not enough just to deploy a solution, but it has to scale, or otherwise you'll get run over, because people are going to move fast. So how big is it? Well, well-known consulting firm put together this spider diagram, and what they're showing you in the red is the current deployment of artificial intelligence. The blue and the green is the potential deployment. And my red circles show the deployment of AI in the physical space. So this is our next horizon. We're currently deeply engaged. You see there's plenty of room in the blue to deploy AI in business and finance and computers and math and architecture and engineering, et cetera, social services, legal, education, libraries, arts, blah, 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 all the soft stuff. But deploying it in manufacturing, deploying it in robotics, means you have to have a dynamic, real-time understanding of the physical world and the physics of the world you're operating in on a real-time, ongoing, monitored, self-censored basis to move anywhere toward copilots or automation. So this transition will take a decade. But it's huge, no but about it, and it's huge. Who's doing the transition? Take a look at the physical space. Here are 50 startups, VC-funded, non-public, small companies, all in the physical AI space. All these companies arrived in the last 2 years. And they're all targets for near-term acquisition, because the entrenched are going to acquire the emerging. And that's how speed and scale will work together. The entrenched have the customers. They don't have the ability to build the tech internally. They don't have the teams. The people are scarce. And we're seeing the acquisitions go off at very high valuations. So just a few examples. Niantic Spatial. I have talked to you before about this company, but it was called Niantic Labs. And their prior success was Pokemon Go. And you know it was the most popular game, fastest adopted, blah, blah, blah. Well, they captured the value of that this last year by selling that game and other games that they had for $3.5 billion. Gone. Investors took their money out. They left behind several hundreds of millions of dollars and the core technology on which the platform was based, which was a mapping technology where you have a full-time, 24/7, real-world, single instance of the world. Think Google Earth, if you will. It's the same team that built Google Earth. But now they're not building a two-dimensional map that you use when you drive around, but a three-dimensional map that understands the physics of the third dimension. Is it solid? Is it liquid? Is it moving? What's the resistance point? And this is being built as a tool to be incorporated in robotics and other physical AI worlds. This is one example. They're going to move fast. They have a platform. This is a company started out of my class 9 years ago. 9 years ago, they were building generator scale photovoltaic systems. In the last 3 years, they moved to building, I mean, you see the scale of this. This is, like many hectares of desert. This is a real installation, covered with photovoltaic panels. Maybe you've seen some of these when you fly across the country and you look down and you see many hectares covered. Now, they're able to, instead of go to Saudi Arabia and have to hire and train 3,000 laborers, skill them up so they can build and deploy. They go with 100 of their own people. They build a factory in the field that robotically assembles the panels and deploys the entire system in 3 months. This is real, and this is today. This is using artificial intelligence to deploy. It's not expert systems, it's not by formula. It's by sensing and reacting. Fortunately or unfortunately, we're all aware of the drone warfare being deployed in the Ukraine and the Middle East. This is exactly the same issue, the same challenge, the same technology, where self-aware vehicles in networks autonomously communicate, form mesh networks, and one could argue take action, what we call kinetic action. That means dropping bombs or destroying vehicles. Kinetic action autonomously. Supposedly it's not done autonomously, but it means the decision is presented to a human who looks at it quickly and says yes. That is a risky place to be. We've seen a lot of massive errors in that deployment, but it's happening, and you can't stop it. An example. So it's a turbulent time. So how are you going to grab the opportunity? You have to be ready for it. How do you get ready for it? Well, we've been here before. We saw Zoom take over the world. We saw, with COVID, of course, we saw bioengineering respond. We saw the deployment of entrepreneurial solutions on massive scale by the incumbents, the same process of the entrepreneurs building the tech. We see people learning how to take advantage of this magic quadrant where you have rapid evolution of change. Research done at the university, commercialized, scaled, and then taken to profitability. This art has been mastered by those who are the engineers of innovation. The universities, the entrepreneurs, the venture capitalists, and the major corporations. They're all learning how to participate actively in this process. So the entrepreneur's journey for this is the tough one. This is what many of you in the room are facing. This problem between opportunity and resources. Identifying the opportunity, the need, the solution, your advantage, and acquiring support and resources. And how are you going to assemble these? This is what the university can help you do, because you're faced with these binary decisions, left or right. You can't just build a plan and deploy it. You have to learn to experiment. You have to learn that you have to guess and try over and over again till finally you're ready to deploy at scale. You'll get support from the community, you'll get support from investors if you can demonstrate performance and incremental performance so that you can get incrementally substantial resources. This represents financial resources. It could represent human resources as you build value. So the classic view of innovation is sort of a straight line process. It's not correct. It's this iterative experimentation. And we see it over and over again. The Clayton Christensen example is never wrong. It's just proven over and over again that the new entrant goes for the niche market with an inferior product. Did I say inferior? I said inferior and I meant it. The new product is not as good as the existing product. But it quickly, if it is on a strong platform, it can quickly scale beyond the capacity of the old technology. The incumbents can improve their products incrementally. It's the entrepreneurs that will disrupt the existing customer base with new solutions when the change is a step function. And we've seen this repeated over and over again. So again, with the speed of innovation, we have to learn how to quickly leverage this startup innovation engine to scale, to growth. It's not enough to have a great idea. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you view it, collaboration with the incumbent, with the major enterprise, can be a pathway to true global scale. You can build it on your own, but you run the risk of getting run over. So this collaboration is part of the strategy. So where do you leverage the community for support? When I came to San Francisco, it was a financial center. Now San Francisco's a software center. It's not just new buildings, it's who owns the new buildings, it's what they do. So the pattern that we see over and over again is in clusters of innovation, the emergence of new ideas and new ventures. You see industry upon industry revolution. You see from taking an industry view of the world to an innovation view of the world. So the concept of where you are is critical. The concept, we're here at the university. How do we start from that platform? We learn our entrepreneurial skills. We learn how to recognize opportunity and stretch it. We learn how to attract resources, financial resources, human resources, here represented in the blue by venture capital. And we learn how to form collaborations. That's how we build a cluster of innovation. Now, this cluster of innovation takes many forms. They're not the same when you go around the world, but they all have their strengths. And the key thing is how people behave. Are they collaborative or competitive? Do they understand co-opetition versus strictly competition? Do they look for opportunities for win-win versus win-lose? Then there's the rest of us. Maybe not the core players, but the supportive players. These supportive components can be academic or government, the professions, the professional managers. They all have their place. The university is key as a magnet and an enhancer of the human talent. It's an anchor, a home for entrepreneurial and innovation technorati, the elite, our alumni. This goes beyond tech transfer. It incorporates, sure, moving technology out of the university, but it's about venture transfer. Government needs not to be a roadblock. We have these many components. When you look under the microscope at the cluster of innovation, We're going to learn more about what you've done here with your own organization, with the university, and with Technova. And it fits right here in this research parks, accelerators, and incubators, critical linkage between entrepreneurs and major corporations. So with that, I can look at my own university and tell you, oh, all the wonderful things we've accomplished. But you know, what we've accomplished has taken years and decades. It's been a path road, a long path road. And you know, we've done many things to build the ecosystem we built, and we're proud of it. And I'm so proud to be here to help celebrate your own pathway to your own levels of excellence. Not going beyond just the university and the students, but actually to be a startup engine, just like we have at Berkeley. So congratulations to you and your efforts. Congratulations to Josep and all you've accomplished. Thank you very much.
We can take advantage of some minutes for any reaction, question, anything that you would like to react. Are you facing what AI is impacting in our lives? Because you are using, for sure, any AI, but the challenge here is how it will impact in our economy and also in our life. We open for questions, for any interaction, because I would like to ask one, because you told me yesterday.
Are you asking me a question because you don't see any hands out
there? No, I always have a question in my pocket.
Oh, okay.
It's about how the investors in Silicon Valley are focusing the investment and what kind of investment and how it's rising and how it's concentrating this investment, because this is a very important information.
You saw a slide I showed earlier this week.
Yeah, that's the reason why I asked you.
Yeah. I didn't focus on it in this presentation, but if we look at venture capital investment as a measure of the level of activity in the entrepreneurial sphere, the money raised and deployed against artificial intelligence in the first quarter of this year, January, February, March of 2026, is 4 or 5 times the amount of money deployed all of 2025 against AI. It goes like boom, 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 choop. And of that now, that sounds great. The challenge is, of that money, 70% plus or minus, went into 5 companies. So what you're having is this tremendous concentration of resource. And that's why collaboration is essential. I talk about the incumbents, but these emerging companies like OpenAI or Anthropic, or, name your flavor of choice, they're platform, they're not application stacks, but if you don't have a way to collaborate deeply with them, you might think that they're utilities and you just build your stack on top of them. Their economic resources are so deep that as they consume those resources and get their platform scaling, they won't be able to scale them fast enough to consume all that capital. They're going to have a few $100 million left over, and they're going to start building the vertical stacks themselves internally. They're going to have their own. So you have to be in the place of opportunity and challenge and market space, the velocity, so that when they say, oh, there's an opportunity in doing XYZ for ABC, and gee, let's do that, and somebody says, well, in our corporate venture space, we already have in our portfolio this company, well, maybe we'll just buy them. That's a sweet spot to be. It's not bad to be bought. I don't mean to endorse it, but it's not bad. A few $100 million for 2 or 3 years' work is okay, and then you can continue with that challenge. I mean, take Pokemon Go. That team came out of Google, with the support of Google, but they had already built Google Earth. It's like now they're building Niantic Spatial, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you just don't do it once. And it doesn't mean you have to abandon the old one. You continue to mature and evolve your skill base to the need. So tremendous venture capital interest in AI. I have one other comment, if I may.
No. We have questions also, but you have...
Okay, just one more comment. One more comment. Starting 2 years ago, one more comment. Every firm, I'm associated deeply with 3 or 4 firms, and I see many casually. Every firm has bifurcated its activity, the old portfolio and the new portfolio. And the first thing they did was turn to the old portfolio and say, yes, you're doing well, but now what are you doing about AI? And if the old portfolio didn't sort of grasp the opportunity, the interest of the venture capitalists in their old portfolio company, they don't tell them, but tends to be like, oh, that's good. But if they come with a new way to deploy their old idea in the AI universe, it's like, super, let's go! And they pour a lot more money in. So this idea of every venture capitalist in the world looking at every portfolio company they have and saying, how does AI affect you? That is the ongoing activity.
I mean, not only new, the old one, they have to increase and include the AI. We have some questions.
Yes.
Who was raising the hand? Raise your hand, introduce yourself, and stand up, because it's good to see you. Okay, good.
Oh, hello.
We hear you.
Hi. Okay. Hi. Thank you very much for your explanation and sharing with us your experience. My name is Ulage, and I would like to ask you, what do you think about if the AI is going to take, or is going to do a lot of works, and robotics are going to do a lot of works? What do you think are we going to do in terms of humanity? What are we going to do without jobs?
I don't think the jobs go away, but they change. And we've had this over and over again. And we see it's at a tremendous cost to the human capital. But in my own country, there's something we call the Rust Belt. We had industrialization in the 1920s, 1910s, labor-dependent automation, capital intensity, automation. And then after 1960 or so, you tend to see manufacturing shift globally. People didn't stop manufacturing, but it went away from the high-cost centers, and it went to China, wherever. And those people are a lost generation. We said, oh, we're going to retrain them. No, we didn't retrain them. They are done. And they went back to school, and they learned how to code or do something, but then you graduated college and competed with them, and you didn't have a legacy of union labor for 30 years. You were just young, and you do it now. So there is tremendous cost in the transition. I don't have an answer for that. Others are talking about guaranteed minimum income. Personally, I don't think in the United States we'll get there. In Scandinavia, they have that. Because of our own budget process, the United States is a deficit economy. We're building our economy by borrowing. That is not, as long as we print money, that the US dollar is the dominant currency, we can do that. But that will be challenged over the next 30 years. There'll be more of a global, the euro may be more important, the yen may be important, So we won't be able to do that forever. There's going to be tremendous social dislocation. Hopefully not revolution. I mean, I don't want to be crazy, but we in the United States have a 35% of the population is angry, and they support certain politics. And those angry people are still going to be angry. And I don't blame them for their anger, but it's a politics of, right now, division. I may be going too far for you, but it's a politics of division. And we have to hope for a politics of problem solutions rather than anger to sustain the incumbents. And so it's a real dilemma you raise.
Good.
And I just want to say, all of us in this room need to be part of the go-forward solution. Because it doesn't mean we stop AI and constrain AI. It will not happen. But if we don't create value, profits, out of this opportunity, there'll be no capital to redeploy into social solutions. So we have to have mechanisms for redeploying capital towards social solutions. We're going to hear about some of them today. And I can only be optimistic if we have the right governance.
Good. Wonderful.
Can I?
One question more. Okay, good. We are on time, but in any case, good to listen from you. Introduce yourself.
Hi, Jerome. Thank you very much. My name is Vanessa.
Hello.
So you said something that I think is critical, and it's that now the new wave, it's going to be how AI impacts production, no? Like manufacturing. So we see it very much here in Barcelona and in Spain because we are a country of SMEs and mid-caps, no? And that produce a lot. And now we have the challenge, no, that many of these businesses are also like family-owned, so they are not used so much on innovation and collaboration with the ecosystem. So if you were like a general manager today, no, or a board of directors of these kind of companies, what should be like 2-3 main items on the agenda of these boards to face this couple the next month?
If I'm a family-owned business, okay, let me take this one, right? And let's say I have 100 employees. Is this a good model? And I have margins of 25% gross margin and net bottom line 8%. This would be a typical small business, maybe. I would look at my children. And I would not take one, I'd take two. I take a daughter and a son. And I need the daughter for emotional intelligence, and I need the son for sort of muscle, right? And I would make them a team. And I would say, your job is not to do anything that I do today. I know how to do what I'm doing today. You do solve my customer's problem. You don't need to go find a customer. I have 500. Help me solve their problems better, deeper, longer. Because customer ownership is more tangible in a way, even though it's intangible. It's more real, more long-term than any solution, than any technology. So I would be looking at embedding myself in customers more deeply to do more with them. I may do it with fewer employees long-term, but if I make the transition gradually, maybe the employees naturally will get older and some retire, and I would be investing in that team, my son and daughter, to lead a division that would integrate my base and my existing customers into new products and services or new ways of doing things using the automated tools. I think in physical AI, manufacturing, we have time for that. Because I'd spent the last 2 days at a trade show, very impressive trade show, all sorts of robots doing this and that. I didn't see any examples of deployed intelligence. I saw automation. So I'm sure they got it in the lab, but I still didn't see them selling intelligence. They were selling automation. So I think it's going to be a slower transition in physical AI, and SMEs can participate in that.
Wonderful. We have to jump to the next panel, but in any case, the good news from your misses that we have the solution of the future in this room.
Absolutely.
Because they are young people that can really create new things.
Absolutely.
Good. Let me jump to the next panel, and the panel is coming to understand how Technova was starting and growing and transforming from incubator, tech park at the beginning of the year 2001 until now. For this reason, I would like to ask Xavier, Elena, and Tania to join us because we have a debate about how we were developing. Please, jump. Okay, you can follow. Yes, Jerry there, and I am here.
In the far one?
Yeah, just below the photo, just in an easy way. Okay, good. Okay, good. We wanted to combine two panels because we understood that it was good to, in one hand, to look at the past, but also to look at the present. And the best way was to invite our alumni, as you sing, young alumni, in order to understand what they were living in that moment when they were in Technova, because all of them, they were managing Technova, like Carmen, like Berta and Older and Thiago. They were here in the campus, and you had an incredible journey because you were interns. Believe me, they were interns. Interns means internship, something becario, just for in order to be clear. They were starting doing whatever you can imagine and not imagine. And perhaps you can imagine things and you remember things that we were assigned to you. Please, let's start. Tanya, was your journey? Let's start when you were starting as a becari intern, and until now, what are you doing? Good.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, by the way, my picture is when I was here in Technova, so very young. Yeah. So I started here as an intern. Yeah, I came back to study the Master in Project Management. And then I started in Technova managing the project management. Okay, so setting up methodologies. Wow, hello. Just looking like family faces. Then I also managed a medical cluster that we created. Then the private investment network, because what we were helping entrepreneurs with
This is
both,
we were learning from Silicon Valley. Alumni were the investors of the students. It means the network of investors around us, the first investors, the business angels. Good.
Yeah, we help them both with public and private investment.
Yeah, okay.
And then I think I've been here for 8 years, and then moved to Caixa Capital Risk.
Caixa Capital Risk?
Yeah,
Oh,
venture
good.
capital from La Caixa. And by the way, so Elena was my boss.
Okay, it was a network that were running, no? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, they picked me. And then there I was in the operation teams, and then moved to the venture, the investment team. And by the time I was starting to get on board, because I always love to do many things, different things. Then we had just invested in a portfolio company. They had just raised a Series A, and they were searching for a COO. And I wanted to move out and join a startup. So I went to the startup there, and the challenges was so from a seed startup to a scale up. So I think we increased by 3 times the team. We created many teams, so put down processes and everything. I was there like operations. And then after 4 years, we merged with our main competitors. So we were the lead ones with our competitors. They were in the US, we merged. And then I said, okay, so I want to do something from my own.
Okay.
And then I was leveraging okay, so should I start something from scratch? Or should I continue something? And then I decided to do this second path, because by the time I was a mom and I had my kids, and
well, you had to balance.
So I know that as starting something from scratch is very stressful, very fun, but very stressful as well. And so that's what I'm now. So I now own my company. It's a 20-year-old company. So, and we do document management for big companies.
It's interesting, Tanya, because you were playing all the roles of the game. I mean, you were doing all the you were incubator, accelerator, startup, investor, and now owner of your own job. Xavi.
Thank you. I was before Tanya here. Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here as a former student from engineering and MBA, former employee. I was becario. I was the manager of entrepreneurship program, but I was becario. I don't know if it was legal, but it was
legal, very legal. Not worried, very legal, always legal.
But we were very happy, and
another thing that you were working a lot.
We enjoyed it with passion that times, and I think that we paid part of these buildings, because I remember working together with Josep doing the application for public fund to get the funding for these buildings, and I think it's a very special to be here. Honestly, I think it's impossible to have time to resume all my background, all my professional background. But as Tanya commented, I think that all my experience is around from scratch, from to zero to create and to building new business and managing business. I was an entrepreneur. I was I created a company around artificial intelligence at that moment. That was the second funding of Caixa Capital Risk in in that times. And after I went to the dark side because I went to Telefonica, Roche, pharmaceutical company.
You were leading Telefonica Innovation. It was not bad.
Banco Sabadell, always in the
it's very interesting. The corporates were involving entrepreneurs to be part of the entrepreneurial behavior in corporations.
Yes, they thought that we knew about to start new business and how to take advantage of the research or the deep technology and how we could convert in a new business. It not was easy sometimes, but it was very interesting. And finally, the last experience was the chief executive officer of a local telecommunications operator here in Catalonia, Valencia, and Galicia. And the funny thing is that I was in the last experience because I met the founder here in La Salle 20 years ago, because was on he was one of the founders that need to help for us in La Salle. So we established that relation. And in the other hand, one of the main investors was Venture Capital that initiated the firm when we started here in La Salle in CIDEM, that now it's Axio, that they started the investment process in that moment. So I think that the most important thing is that you have the opportunity to be around the talent. And the talent is the thing that is different, and you need to maintain this kind of contacts. And if you are around in the ecosystem, things are happening, and you have to take advantage of it.
Okay, thank you, Xavi, because it's very interesting how you were jumping from startups to the corporate. In Bank Sabadell, you were starting a new startup as a venture builder. Like a big bank was incubating startups, and you were running a new startup inside under the umbrella, and you were going, and you were. I remember that you had some company from Finland were buying you, and that's what's good. It means this is very interesting how you change, but you are the same person with more experience and with more path record. That's very interesting. Elena, what about you?
Okay, so thank you very much for the invitation. Also, it's a pleasure to be here. So I'm the oldest one, so always.
No, you're
not. So yes, engineer from this school, also MBA. I'm very proud to be here because I think that the NDA of this university gives me the opportunity to progress in the real market. So this is one thing that I think that it's really important for me. My journey, so yes, starting that internship, yes, without no salary, with a lot of working hours here, but with the opportunity to really discover entrepreneurship, investment side, how to try to put new technologies to the market. So this is something that sounds easy, but it's really complicated right now also. And I think that the best thing is that this ecosystem gives the opportunity to continue learning things, always, because you are analyzing new technology, a new team, a new market, a new challenge. So this is why I continue into these ecosystems. So I started here, then I moved to a startup that it's Digital Legends, a video game startup with the production.
Digital Legends was bought by Microsoft.
Exactly.
Microsoft was buying a startup from La Salle. Yeah,
a very successful company, but at that time, we are talking about the first game production from this company. We are talking about the possibility to play through the mobile phone, that right now it's a common set, but at that time, no. So quite innovative, paid by a company called Nokia. I don't know if anyone remember this big name, but paid with a budget of 1 million euros. That it's a really big budget at the time. So finished the production of the first product. I moved to the dark side also, to the bank, to Caixa Capital Risk in this case. At that time we were only 3 people working like that to creating what right now it's a GP investment investing in new companies.
Sorry, it's interesting because the traditional banks started to learn how
Yeah.
to invest in a startup because
Exactly.
they were not SMEs.
Exactly, and this is the key, learning, because as you can imagine, big bang with a lot of zeros in the P&L, and we are right 3 people there without any experience to invest, to be honest. It's the truth. Talking about new technology, changing the world without not profitability, of course. But no, believe, because this is the future. So you can imagine that the investment committee was quite interesting, at least. So, okay, I work in there 13 years, arriving to be the chief operational officer, so controlling that all it's under control, let's say like that. And then I decided to leave the bank to create my own GP, my own company to invest in the social impact side. So also more complicated, not just to looking for the profitability, also the social let's say, social improvement of the world. And with this project, I arrived to Impact Partners, that it's my job today. It's a European platform to invest with social approach. Just 3 numbers. We are 50 people in the GP, more than 500 million euros under management.
Sorry, can you repeat the number?
Under management, 500 million euros under
500
management.
500 million euros.
Yeah,
in your hand.
it's a small one. It's
a small
medium
one, but 500 million euros, we can do
Yeah.
a lot of things.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Yeah. So that's it. And right now I'm here working, investing in social companies.
Good. Let me jump to the second question, and I will open also to Jerry for interact with you. If you were here now, you were here and you are here, and you're both, no? But you can travel to your past in order to understand that where you are now. What recommendations you can provide to our students, also the students that they want to be entrepreneurs, or in any case, they want to be innovators or change makers? We're going to start also with Tanya. Okay, good.
Okay, and thank you very much for inviting me, because I moved before. I would recommend you to take advantage of this ecosystem, and starting with the university and the network of your professors, because you have very good professors here with very good connections, with very good advices. So I think that's the first thing I would start. Then I would move to Technova as well to ask for I mean, I've been there, but they have such a good expertise in how to raise money, how to, it's like faces. So after that, if you are interested and you don't have like a very clear idea, I would suggest you to join a startup, because that's also very good experience. Okay, then you can feel the stress, the joy, the ups and downs, and then surround and identify very good profiles and people that you would like to join and start a venture with you. And I think it's
a very good recommendation. It means perhaps you are not entrepreneur, you have an idea, but you can join a startup just to understand the flavor, the way of running, the way of interacting, and also the focus of how, as Jerry says, is the path to grow. Very, very interesting. Good. Xavi.
Good question and difficult answer. I think that my main recommendation is that please don't follow any recommendation, because we don't know the future. To put on context, when I was in my first year of the university, I had my first mobile device. So the technology is advancing very fast. As you commented, we don't know how it's running the artificial intelligence, so it's impossible to predict the future. You have to build the future. So the unique recommendation is that you have to start to test travel. You have to start to do things. You have to be in contact with the ecosystem, with the people, with the places where are happening things. This is the unique way that you can follow and things are happening around ecosystems.
Yeah.
And Barcelona is a really good place where you can to be, and you have to take advantage of this.
Yeah. Very interesting, this focus of ecosystem, because you will bring, as the students, two big things. Knowledge, we will provide you knowledge, but network. But network, sometimes the network is depending on where you are, you activate the network. Perhaps the first network is for to find a job, but the second network is to find a customer. The third network is to find an investor. The fourth network is to create a new business together. That's interesting message, and really at Salle Technova, and Salle, Josep Santos is leading the Corporate Board Council, the Social Board Council, all our network of students, professors, alumni are really ready to help you in all this process. Elena.
Yeah, I agree with Xavi that maybe any advice could be good or could be bad advice. In any case, I think that to start a business, to be entrepreneur, is something that needs to be done. Maybe not for all the people, but I can imagine if you are here, it's because you have this ingredient, this question that why not to start a business? If you have it, the first thing is to be entrepreneur. It's not to be the CEO of Tesla or the CEO of the most powerful, the most knowledge company. It's also to create a small business on the ground, and it's also to be entrepreneur. So the first thing is to create a business. It's always a challenge, and it's something to be recognized. So this is the first thing. And to have a mistake or not to have a super succeed in the first time, it's not an error. It's something to put in your back and to use it for the next time, and to be proud of all the journey. So this is maybe the two reflections.
Good, very good, because this is a wonderful way of the journey of lessons learned. You can fail, but in honest way you can learn. If you learn, that's something that you will not replicate again because you were learning this. Wonderful. Jerry, let me open a question to you, because you saw during more than 20 years Technova, and you saw how we were following you with the Lean Launchpad model, with your way of creating new business startups as a process that you showed before. How did you see all this evolution, and what recommendations you have now for these 25 years, next 25 years, I hope?
Wow. It's an interesting conflict or tension to move as Technova, or my center was the Leicester Center for Entrepreneurship, to move that as an enterprise toward providing support for students, and then to see a university writ large move all its resources, not toward incubation necessarily, like that model, but toward changing the way of thinking, entrepreneurial thinking. Mm-hmm. So the impact I've seen here, as I've seen in my own university, is to recognize that entrepreneurship, writ small, okay, is creating businesses, products, services that create value, social value, capital value, whatever, and that it uses within the capitalist system, it discovers mechanisms, legal mechanisms that work, that can be sustained, right? I mentioned the capitalist system because there are constraints. We're not talking about the mafia, we're not talking about illegal activities, because they're not, why? Because they're bad? Well, yes, they are, but really because they're not sustainable, because society writ large will stop them or try to stop them. There'll be constraints. And nobody wants to live in that world. We want to live in a world where society writ large gives you energy because they celebrate what you do and they love it. In the same way, that's an example to the broader institution, right? To the university writ large, that entrepreneurship is actually not just that model of value creation, but it's a mindset. I learned this from others. People would come and say, we want you to teach the entrepreneurial mindset. In the beginning, I didn't understand. And now, after some decades, I'm just beginning to understand that there's opportunities for everyone, not necessarily to be entrepreneurs or even to be in business, but to have a mindset that looks for problems to solve, that are substantial, that have scalability, that have the ability to provide personal reward, whether that's just happiness or financial or social for others, building community. But that mindset is a way of constructive engagement with problems. So I think that's our next 25 years, is to continue what we're doing, because you need to be the lighthouse. You need to be the shining light. But that light can reflect broadly. And we can look to carry that message broadly to help society writ large look toward opportunity. As we were pointed out by a colleague in the audience, we will be facing challenges. We always have a challenge, but clearly today we're going to have challenges of redeployment. There will be many challenges there. Redeployment of people, redeployment of capital. So that's my recommendation, is that we think broadly about the lighthouse, continue the lighthouse, build the resources for the lighthouse, but recognize we have a responsibility to think broadly as well, and to welcome the whole community into the process in however it can contribute.
Thanks, Jerry, because that's what connects UC Berkeley with La Salle, that's what connects La Salle with UDD, Universidad del Desarrollo, with EAFIT, with other universities, that we believe that we are not just an educational institution or research institution, we are an impact institution in economic and social development. Thank you very much. Let's jump to the next panel, but before that, a big clap for them. Okay, good. Okay, let me invite, now we jump to the, let me say, students, alumni, but the young generation. And sorry, Xavi, for the concept of generation, but in any case, Cristina Grau, Carlos Galan, and Max Lopez, if they can join us on the stage, you are very welcome. And it is, you're in your hands, okay? You will manage. Just below the photo will be the best way.
Yes. So Carlos, you're near me?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
This is where it gets fun. No, negative to the prior panel, but, this is the future, right? So we'll start with the typical question. The typical question is, oh, who are you? What do you do? And give us a pitch on your current venture. And it can be 3 or 4 sentences, but the pitch. This is what we train our entrepreneurs to do, to sell, always be selling, always be promoting in a very open and friendly way. So would you like to start, Carlos?
Yes, of course.
Who are you, Carlos?
So hello, everybody. It's super nice to be here and a great opportunity for us. So my name is Carlos, and my startup is called Mentor, and I will try to explain in 3 sentences, maybe
5.
In 5, okay. That's better than before. Okay, so we're trying to improve performance in sports, and the question is how we do that, or how we start.
Whoa. Coaching. Ready?
Yeah.
You said this before. This is the second time I've heard you. Trying. You're not trying. You improve performance in sports. Yeah? Try it again.
Yes. We improve performance in sports.
Better, yeah?
Better, no? Okay. So we are starting by cycling, and we've made the first non-bike dependent power meter, and we're measuring power in cycling, and we are starting here, and we're hoping to do a big step onto like the biomedic sector by analyzing a gait of people and trying to detect in a premature way Parkinson.
Get rid of the word trying. Again, you said
Okay,
it twice.
sorry.
Now,
That's trying because I haven't started yet.
no. You've started. So I'm gonna really be unfair, okay? Get ready, I'm gonna be unfair. So we did some coaching before because we met each other and I can't help. Can you, before I ask you to do it, can you recall what I told you to do?
Yes,
Can you do it again differently now?
differently.
Yeah, the way I was asking you to do it.
You told me to.
No, just do it. If you can.
Okay. I hope.
Now go.
We're improving performance in sport
Bravo.
by measuring power in cycling.
Bauer. Yes, good. So what we changed was what we learned before was what he did, but not who he did it for. So by stating what you were doing it for sport, we know we're talking about athletes that we want to attract as our market segment. So why, I'm sorry for this, but why am I making a big point of this? Because somebody has to have a problem. So knowing what you're doing only until I know who you're doing it for, I don't understand the problem. But if you tell me who you're doing it for and then what you do, then I understand the problem. So tell me about the customer first and then what you do for them. Okay? Perfect. Thank you, Carlos. Bravo. Fist bump. Come on, give me a fist bump. All right. All right. Now, Christina, go for it.
Thanks.
Now, also, tell us first who you are,
Yeah.
etc.
Okay, yeah, do you hear me? Yeah.
You're on.
So, hi everyone, I'm Christina. I'm a La Salle alumni. I'm also a former researcher at MIT and Harvard studying human-computer interaction. And a few years ago, I nearly lost my life in a car accident due to a drunk driver. And I became obsessed with time because every day can be your last day. So I decided to give people their time back with TwinTool. TwinTool is a single AI interface that learns from your behavior and replies to all the messages on your behalf in all channels, email, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Slack. So you can earn 2 hours every day and you can chill while TwinTool basically replies to your messages.
So if you had to segment your market, if we had to change your business today, okay, and I said to you, that's a nice consumer-facing business, but you need a first, and I know you have 10 customers, whatever, but you need a first customer. You know, you need to translate this into a mission and a benefit for somebody who really has a problem. How would you recharacterize that so that you're approaching a market segment rather than just giving everybody 2 hours in their life?
Exactly. So I love this question because that's something we've found with our type of business. So we're currently focusing on executives in SMBs. The reason why we're doing that is because they have normalized that their day-to-day is basically replying to messages, and it makes no sense. Like, if you see a company, every employee has a tool like, I don't know, CRMs that have improved vastly in the last 20 years, but executives and managers who are like the main pillars of the companies don't have a tool that have improved that much in the last 20 years. So there's a huge gap. We're focusing on them, and also they need to get their time back. And when you look at it in a cold way inside a company, companies want to earn money. So if you just do maths, you have all your employees earning 2 hours every day. That's like a week free for every company, for every employee that's working for your company. So it's a win-win for everyone.
And the focus then is SMEs. Why SMEs and not large corporations?
So
the same would be true, right?
Yeah. So the first thing would be that large corporations have these cybersecurity obstacles. So when you try to incorporate with them, they also have like all these IT procedures, and it takes more time. So when you're doing a startup, time going fast is key. So that's why we're focusing on SMBs. However, if you have good contacts, so currently the director of AI of Vodafone, he's like an amazing person. He became obsessed with TwinTool and fell in love with the solution, and he's helping us. So having mentors in your company, in your life, is great, and he's helping us to get introduced to larger companies like Iberostar, for instance, and that's
wonderful. Great. And just a lesson for all of us is looking for the problem. You have the problem. And then the next step is, who needs it? But we all need healthcare. We all need time back. I mean, those are wonderful. We all need food. I mean, those are wonderful things, but they're not compelling, right, to action. But if we marry it with the middle manager in an SME who has no tools to support them, then we match our marketing to them. We have the next step. We know what to do. And then, of course, leveraging into a large customer is a blessing, because then you follow the software as a service model, if you will, and it's a well-proven model. Excellent. Exactly. So lower risk, essentially, on the revenue model side of your business model, which is an important thing, where I don't know your revenue model, but when you do measure the performance for the high-performance athlete, is there a traditional way they've paid for that measurement in the past, and can you adopt it? Just before we get to Max, can I ask you that question?
Yeah, of course. So basically, the problem that we are solving now is that nowadays you have to pay for a cyclist, for example, if you have 3 bikes, which is like the medium of Spain of a cyclist, you have to pay 3 times to measure power in every in every bike. And with our insoles, we are measuring power, and you can just buy 1 device to all your bikes, even 1 million bikes if you want. So that is the problem, and that is.
And I'm hearing the beauty of that, because if it's an insole, the translation of that to a consumer seems to be easier than something that's embedded in the device, in the vehicle itself. So you have something that's becomes a platform rather than a component. Its own platform, its own communication, your own media, your own branding, and then to consumer. I hear that path.
The idea was of the product be a non-bike dependent, let's say.
Beautiful. When did you get that insight?
5 years ago.
And not chronologically, but because of an engineering insight of how one could do something, or because of a business insight of getting off the bike and making it device independent?
Because if you put it on an insole, you can go to all other markets.
I got the logic, but so how did you get where was the aha?
Because it was the only part of
Where was the aha? Not why, but what was the moment? What was the thing that you said? Did somebody tell you it's okay?
No.
So where was it for you?
Because if it is not on the bike, the only part that you can measure.
No, you're not telling me anymore. So I want you to think about that, and I want everybody to think about it, because if you think about where you gain an insight, and it's okay to read it elsewhere. I'm not saying we all have to have something from heaven that the light bulb comes on, but I was showing you how the newspaper gives me insights. We all have insights every day. And if you can begin to get the habit of capturing your insights, you don't know what's a good one or a bad one, but you begin to get the habit of saying, I'm thinking a little differently for a moment here, and now then you have something to test. Does this thing have credibility? So that's an entrepreneurial skill. We're talking about entrepreneurial behavior being generalizable. So this is a innovation and creativity behavior. So I leave it for you. Thank you, Max.
Thank you.
Hello, Max.
Hello, Jerome. Thank you.
How are you?
Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you to La Salle and Technova for having us here. It's crazy to think that just a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I was just sitting there, as many students are now, and I just wanted to say that time moves very fast, so take the opportunity if you can to try it, test it, and I mean, in a couple of years, you could be the ones being here. We're just starting, obviously. We are not any kind of successful entrepreneurs yet, hopefully one day.
Yes, you are.
But we're trying, and we are doing this with a lot of motivation and purpose. My name is Max.
Hi, Max.
I'm the co-founder of Glimmer. Glimmer is basically a market intelligence AI native platform. What we basically do is detect critical market shifts for industrial manufacturing companies in the mid-sized market and actually transform all those information into strategic decisions.
Slower. This is so beautiful. Max has a beautiful business model here. Everybody does up here, but I love Max's business model because because when you talk about your market segment in a moment, it's going to be magical. So in terms of robust need and scalability, so take it slower for me, Max, and take it apart. The same words, but just let's think of the importance of them. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So we are basically building an AI native market intelligence platform that basically what does, it's operate.
What does AI native mean?
Yeah, so basically we have constructed a tool that operates as a radar and has AI in all layers of this process, starting with the detection of those critical market shifts and ending with the decision making, with the strategic advice for the decision makers.
How did you deconstruct that process to understand where to apply the intelligence layers?
Yeah, so I mean, market intelligence has been going around for decades. We know
First,
this.
full stop. I love that. And if we can apply insights to existing problems with existing customers, we know who to talk to. And we know who our competition's going to be, and we can go right at it. So
100%.
perfect. Go,
Yeah,
continue,
100%.
please.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, big corporates have always been operating with these very structured market intelligence teams, with researchers, data scientists. But with the rise of AI, it has come a new opportunity for the mid-market, which they can't afford the big consultancies such as McKinsey, Bain, or other ones. So we have basically democratized these services, these strategical services with AI agents, which they operate 24/7 hours for them in a very recurrent way, in order to increase the opportunities for them in terms of getting all these tenders in the market, actually analyzing and detecting these regulatory shifts in time. So this is something that has never been done before for the mid-market. They usually spend a lot of hours and manual work doing this. According to McKinsey, they spend even 19% of their time just analyzing, filtering, and searching for this kind of information, which is critical for them. And now we are providing them this tool that basically gives them the opportunity to don't lose time in these manual tasks and actually increase these kind of opportunities and risks and decrease these risks that they have in their market.
Okay, you're getting a little too plain vanilla for me. That all was good stuff. I mean, brilliant. But I was losing the passion around the market niche. Who really cares about that? You told me mid-market, and you told me people who didn't have the tools. Now, why am I going to pay, instead of $1 for that, I'm going to pay $10? Who really cares?
Yeah, so we are basically focusing on sectors which they have a high degree of regulation, competition, and innovation.
Beautiful. Why do I care? A, high barriers to entry for the wherever you're playing in regulation or whatever. Also change, and also access to the data. In other words,
Exactly.
You know when a regulation's moved.
Exactly.
It's certain. You can monitor it, you know where it's published, and you can alert proactively. So which in all those dimensions. So that's why I love your business, is because the data is out there.
Exactly.
And there's a real need for either to comply or to take advantage of a new offer, tender or ask for services.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. What I'd like to do is open this for the audience, okay? Because if we can have the support of mobile microphone and whatever, because this panel has so much to offer, and I'd love to do that. So while we're get your questions ready, and I'll ask one question. So the question is, and it's been intrinsic here, but how did in the last year, I mean, we heard about AI being important in 2 of the 3, right? But in the last year, how has this obvious awareness of the AI competency and capability, when did that change your business? Did it change your business? I know it's embedded sort of in yours, you're saying AI native, but you couldn't have created that in the last year. When was that impact of saying, oh, I got to change what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing it, but I'm going to do it differently? Can you speak to that? Either anybody who has that insight.
Yeah, so I mean, I think all companies are changing with AI in any kind of way. I think there would be 3 verticals. The first one would be when hiring a team. I think that just we're avoiding assistants or very, very junior people, because that can be pretty much automated, and I prefer to have like two senior developers that have AI rather than a bunch of juniors that have like little experience, and I have to dedicate my time to train them. Then the next vertical would be basically the LLMs that we can use to train our models. Of course, before, when we started, we were training everything in all the user database that we had. But nowadays, as there's like a lot of things open source and a bunch of stuff going on, we can also train our models on that. Even though our models are very user-centered, and it's called like users' personas, so it's very centered.
So you had identified the opportunity and sort of the solution before being hit with AI hard, and now it's shifted how you're doing your business. So
exactly.
who you hire and how you conduct.
Yeah.
You may answer the question if it applies. Go ahead.
Yes.
Please.
So it helped us a lot in another way. As we are making an electronic device or a wearable, it helped us to basically to code super fast in one way, and to test biomechanical gates with trained models. So that helped us a lot to reduce the number of testing that we had to do with, let's say, in normal users or normal persons.
So it accelerated your ability to
a lot.
Do your tremendous. And yourself, Max, is clearly is embedded.
Yes, for us, everything started with our previous job because we are three co-founders, but my co-founder, Pau, and I, we both came from the consulting space. And we are people so engaged with AI, but we actually saw that there were so many problems when consultants actually needed to provide the right information for the right person for your clients. So thanks to being persons very involved in the AI space, it has been for us a hobby. I remember when we started like using the first ChatGPT model that came out, I was a student here in the last year of the degree. So it has always been constructing a business around AI, but I think the most important thing here is actually also knowing that we are building AI, but how are we going to be alive in 1 year or 6 months? And for us, that has been always the debate and the conversation with our CTO and co-founder, that how can we build a very robust solution that is not just an AI wrapper connecting with OpenAI API or Cloud API. So we have built like our own fine-tuned models since the beginning, and maybe it has took us more time, but actually now we have the confidence that our solution is not going to be replaced by any person that knows how to vibe code. That I think that's also very important.
Yeah, we're all worried about vibe coders who are taking over the world. Just one suggestion for all three of you, I can't resist making a suggestion, is that as you develop these metrics around either energy creation or amount of time saved or the regulatory pace or whatever, that you brand some metric that's your metric, and you use that overdose when you socially communicate about this metric. Because you can own the metric. People can replicate the business, but if you own the metric, it can represent your brand. And in the end of the day, that may be not all, but that's maybe a very important asset is your metric. And therefore they want your solution because they'll assume that it can improve against that metric, time saved or energy created, etc. Thank you. So where's our first question out there? Okay, Joseph, you're my co-chair. You're supposed to be my co-chair. Go for it.
Who was the first investor that was a professional? Not your mom or your father or your friend. Who was the first investor?
It was me.
Yeah. Right answer.
With your own capabilities?
Yeah.
You didn't need any extra money?
So the first person, I always say that like everyone is capable of investing their own time, but not their money. That's a different risk. So my co-founder and I both have the mentality and the vision that all co-founders should invest their own money because that's like a higher risk, and you're going to be more implicated in the company. Then like a more like formal investor outside like ourselves, it was an angel investor from Boston. He knew us like from a long time. He knew how we worked. He really believes in the mission, and he's one of our like best supporters. Not only by putting the first money in, but also by sharing his network with us, both from clients and other investors. So that's yeah.
Bravo. Max or Carlos?
So for me, it was a family office from another city out of here, and they were the ones that believed in what we were doing. So as we are, like, let's say, something tangible or a wearable, we need, or what I think, a lot of money to start creating and doing those type of fabric things and electronic
Does that
things.
family office have businesses that do fabrication and manufacturing?
Yes. And
so there's a strategic alignment, not just family office, but actually they're a strategic investor and well. Excellent.
For us, our first investors were our previous bosses in our previous job. I think that's also very important because when you quit a job where you have been working for 3 years, they are the ones that know how you perform better, even better than your own parents, probably. And I think that's the first people that have to trust you, because if your previous manager doesn't trust you, it's going to be hard. And also, we have always been focusing a lot, mainly in the first round, about having the right business angels in the industrial space, corporate business angels, not only investors that give you the money, but actually investors that are CEOs or directors of these huge industrial firms, where they live the pain there, and it's also an opportunity for us to grow faster in the first years.
So they're investors, but they're either customers or potential your segment. They're your target.
Exactly.
They bring that need, that pain. You get to talk to them, and you bring them value.
Exactly. They are going to be more involved also in the business.
And you're making a point, and Carlos, just to extend, how did you meet that family office? Is it a personal relationship, or how did you meet them?
No, so I start knocking doors.
Yes.
In the street.
Yes.
I even start talking to a lot of venture capitals.
Yes. And they said no.
They said no. So
it's a device. They don't want to hear about it, right?
And they started to think of business angels and family office that could help me, and just they sent me their phone, and I called, always calling.
So the lesson for me that I want everybody to hear is why the first investor and the value more than money that they are. From this story, for me, it's my investor is my fabricator, the person who can help me actually get it in place. And they trust me, I trust them, etc. Your own endorsement from your prior relationship, so important. Likewise, there can't be a better investor than your prior employer, as you said, because it quiets 10 different questions, like who are you and why aren't you still doing it and whatever it is. It just quiets the waters and allows you to build your story in a positive way. So, questions, please. I see in the back. I love it. It's in the back. Please stand and introduce yourself. Take advantage of the moment.
Yeah, hello, I'm Dorian, and my question is basically about finding a co-founder and someone that actually have the same vision and values, so you can work together and that complements you, because maybe you have an idea, and I actually know a little bit the background about how you guys met your co-founders, because, well, some of you
Excellent question.
So yeah, I just wanted some advice or something that could help me with that.
Thank you for the question. Max, we'll start.
Yes, thank you for the question, because that's the question that I was always doing before starting, going to these kind of conferences. I think it's the first thing that a founder should focus on, and it's probably the most important thing for your entire business journey. In our case, we are 3 co-founders. Pau, my first co-founder, we both were in the previous company working together. He wasn't in my department, but he was actually sitting on my side. And it was very important because I have the confidence on how his technical skills were, but I also get to know him in a very personal way. So from day one, when my previous job promoted internal competition for offering a startup idea, we were both the only ones in the 80 people company that raised their hands that wanted to participate. And at that moment, I knew he was the right co-founder because he held the same passion that I have for businesses. And then the most challenging thing was finding a CTO co-founder. And this, well, there are many business students here that probably have this challenge too. And for us, we tried so many things. Obviously, a typical thing is going to events and a lot of, like, for example, the ethnic ecosystem. There are so many places here that you could go. But for us, what worked, it was actually knocking doors through LinkedIn. We spoke with more than 100 engineers in 1 month, and that's not an exaggeration. It was actually like full-time calendar of speaking with people. And it's very tough, but the only thing that I can suggest is you're going to find a lot of great technical engineers, technical business people. Everything is getting more commoditized than ever in that way. And the thing that is not going to be replaced is the personal soft skills. So try to engage with that from the beginning.
Emotional intelligence as much as whatever we call normal intelligence. Thank you. Please, Christina.
So I feel I'm very lucky because I think I've known my co-founder for at least 12 years. We met at a Fab Lab, and we've been building together since then. He's an amazing person. He's also a computer science background, more in the cybersecurity space. So I think we both work together very well. I'm currently more in the fundraise, sales, chief everything officer, I like to call it. And he's the CTO. And that's it. So a few years ago, when I was just finishing my master's, doing research, working at a company that were doing like products from 0 to 1 for other companies. He was also like head of operations at a company here in Spain. So we're both suffering the information overload in messaging. So we were both like, okay, we have to quit our jobs. We have to move to I was already in Boston, so he quit his job. He moved to Boston, and we both started developing it. And as a fun fact, we both received a very cool offer the day that we incorporated the company. My offer was for a research position at TikTok for the For You page. The salary was very interesting. But of course, I rejected it to found Twintool, and I always say that's fuel for us. And Matt, it happened the same thing to him. So he's an amazing person, and if you follow our journey, you'll see him, and you'll see how amazing he is.
And it's interesting, the question that was asked about your first investor, and you said ourselves, you could quantify it even with your 3 years of your salary and equity worth in TikTok, and for your partner as well, and then say, we invested $5 million of our own opportunity capital.
Exactly. And we were living in Boston, so I mean, we didn't have that much money saved, but the little we had, we just went all for it, because being an entrepreneur is taking risks.
Bravo, well said. Carlos.
I'm probably not the best guy to answer this question.
Oh, tell us, Mr. Solo Founder. Did you do it all on your own?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. I love it. Go ahead.
I do not have a co-founder. We are currently 5 working in the company.
Yes.
So as Christina said, it's all about taking risk.
Yes.
And when I failed on trying to find my perfect co-founder, so I decided to go ahead by myself and the money that I raised.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's good, but venture capitals don't like this.
No.
But here we are, so
here you are.
I think it was great.
Yeah. If you have, I love it because you give me the answer, the opportunity to say, don't force the co-founder thing. Don't go out and get a co-founder and think you're buying a car. You're getting married, and you shouldn't force that either, right? But excellent. Next question, please. I can't see you. Next and last question. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, I'm Cindy. So based on your answers earlier, I was wondering, I think one of the challenges to startups is really starting things and starting your business. So how did you close the gap of ideas and reality, like turning your businesses into reality, considering that I think it's more competitive now than ever before?
Idea to action. Who wants to go first? Go.
I really like this question because I always say that an idea is worth anything. And the big difference between an idea and an entrepreneur or a startup, it's somebody that makes something. I don't mind if it would make it happen or not. So he or she starts making something, the next step. So I think that everybody here started like with an idea and then making the next step. Start coding, start talking with people, start doing research. That is the next step, and that's where the startup it starts. So that's my point of view.
Well said.
So thank you so much. So I've always been a very curious person, and in fact, since I was super young, I had like a small paper besides my bed where every night I just started to write all my crazy ideas that bumped into my head at any time of the night. But all of them, some of them I just made them but didn't like pursue more or I don't know, sell them. Some of them were like an exoskeleton of a robotic arm for my mom. Others were like, I don't know, robots for palliative children in hospitals. But I feel that when the idea of Twinswell came to my mind, it was when I really felt the pain. I nearly lost my life, as I mentioned earlier, and I realized that any day could be my last day. So the resilience and these anxiety inside of me or of wanting to change the world and improving people's lives is what made me realize that Twinswell was not only a problem that I wanted to solve, but it was a problem that I was feeling, and not only myself, but everyone. And it was a global problem. So after interviewing more than 400 executives, I realized that the pain was a reality, and a solution was needed. So that's when I just went all for it and quit everything.
So first step, you just said something, I want to repeat it. Interviewing over 400 executives. So in my world, I'd call that customer discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is what we teach, right? Customer discovery. So it's in a way, it's an easy step. It's a lot of work. But tell us in customer discovery, what are you selling something, or are you asking people about their problems? Tell us about that first step, that first question.
So I started to narrow down my ICP because, as you said, right, Twinswell could be for anyone. But we started to look at who were those people that really felt this pain and were willing to pay for it, because we wanted to be profitable soon, right? So that's what we started. We started interviewing people in the States, because we were in Boston. And we just started to get to know about their pains, what they needed, what they wanted, because every time you have an idea and you want to develop something, you basically develop based on your own assumptions. And an assumption is not always like the right solution, because maybe the best Twinswell for me or the best messaging app for me is very different for the CEO of OpenAI, right? And I need to develop something that everyone or my ICP is going to use and pay for that. So that's what we did. We basically interviewed a lot of people. We narrowed down everything. And I think customer interviewing and success and support never ends. Now that we launched, we're constantly just reaching out to all of our users and asking them, like, what do you like? What do you don't like? Because that's very important. What features do you want us to add? Do you need more support from us? Like, what do you want? We want to make the best product for you, and we want to know yourself better, like you, better than you know yourself. So I think that's how you build a good product.
So as a first step to our questioner, in a way you don't have to actually make anything, which you're suggesting, which is wonderful, but you can also just ask questions. And that is a commitment of self. And that's a first step that doesn't cost any money, but it puts yourself in the firing line for the answer. And you can begin to hear the answers and see if it fits for you. If what people are saying to you is a problem is really the problem you think you want to solve. So it's a free step. Just takes time, energy, and commitment.
Yeah, totally agree. And I want also to summarize both of them opinions in two phases. The first one is that, as they were saying, like, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be kind of in a good way delusional, in the sense of that if you look at the statistics, risk is there obviously, and it's the most risky thing that you could do probably in your life.
No, getting married is worse.
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that. I knew someone was going to think about that, but it's never going to be the perfect timing. At the end of the day, you have to jump to the swimming pool, try. If you fail, repeat, and take into consideration that you are young. We are young, so it's not the same building a business when you don't have kids and a lot of responsibilities that you may have later. And the second thing is that I believe now it's easier than ever to build a fast prototype with AI. You have to fully dominate these tools. You could open Lovable today and build the idea that you have in mind. Go to 10 different customers that you think are going to be your ideal ICP, show them the solution, and try to close them at least a letter of intention. So when you have the actual solution, they are going to pay for it. So take that in consideration because many years ago that wasn't possible, and it was very hard to sell with a presentation. It was tougher, but now we can build products. So fully dominate this, and I think it's the best way to actually validate.
Beautiful, thank you. So much wisdom, so much knowledge, and so much opportunity for all of us in the future. Thank you for teaching us. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. A big clap. Good. And now let us, our General Manager, Josep Santos, for closing this intensive masterclass and extra panels of our students and alumni.
Okay. A more formal presentation or reading, just to close this special event, because we are now here to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Salle Technova. And then, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Dear Jerry, dear Josep, Carmen, dear member of Technova, alumni, entrepreneurs, students, professors, researchers, colleagues from La Salle, academic, institutional authorities, friends, and especially our guests from UDD, Chile. Let's begin with one simple word, that is thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here for this celebration of the 25th anniversary of Salle Technova. 25 years is not only a number, it's a good number for sure, but it's not only a number. It's a shared story. We learn a lot of we. Many people, many ideas, many projects, and many brave decisions for sure. Today we celebrate much more than an innovation park or an incubator. We celebrate a way to understand the university. A university that creates knowledge for sure, transfers it, and puts it in a service of society. Salle Technova was born with a powerful idea to connect technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, companies, talent, investment, all in the same ecosystem. Today, maybe it sounds natural, but 25 years ago, here in Europe, it was a visionary idea. Before looking forward, we must look back for a gratitude side. Thank you all the people who have helped Salle Technova to grow. Directors here, in the past directors, former directors, teams, mentors, professors, as I say, researchers, alumni, entrepreneurs, investors, companies, institutions, and partners. For all of you, I suggest to have a big applause, please. Big applause. Technova has been built with people, with trust, with generosity, with method, with vision, and for sure, as you mentioned, with a lot of work. And the ability to connect worlds that sometimes seem separate: university and companies, classroom and markets, research and startups, Barcelona and the world. Over these years, Technova was supported 100 of the entrepreneurial projects and more than 1,000 projects. More than 1,000 projects. 1,000 is a lot, 25 years. It has connected startups, investors, corporations, students, alumni, researchers, companies, but always making a space for a new opportunities. This is great. That is why we can say with pride that La Salle Technova was not only support the growth of the innovation ecosystem in Barcelona, it has helped to build it. And this is real a pioneer thing. Dear Dr. Engel, dear Jerry, it's an honor for us to have you here today with us. You are our first, as you mentioned, Honoris Causa for our business school. The first. This means something. Your work at Berkeley and your international leadership in innovation, entrepreneurship, and venture capital has been an inspiration for many of us. Your vision and your methodology have helped strengthen the way Technova supports entrepreneurs. You have reminded us that entrepreneurship is not only having good idea, it's also validating, listening, learning, testing assumptions, and building with discipline. Thank you for all of that, Jerry, your inspiration, your generosity, and for your continuing part of this story. For you, for sure, a big applause also. And now let me speak about other person. Dear Josep Piqué. Today we also want to speak about you. And we want to speak about you just because, precisely because you don't want to do it. And you always skip that. But we want to do it. Josep, you have been, in many ways, the spiritual father of this project. As you mentioned before, this project was promoted by brother Daniel, the former general manager. He was also a true visionary. He understood that La Salle needed another path, another kind of support, another horizon for its most entrepreneurial students. He understood that it was not enough to educate good professionals. We also had to support those who want to create, to found, to take risks, as you mentioned, to innovate and to transform. And you presented, 25 years ago, defended in a board and promoted this formula. I can imagine the board at that moment saying, you are crazy. What are you talking about? But with brother Daniel, it was all possible. And the formula that connects university, business, entrepreneurship, and technology and investment was created 25 years ago, 25 years, a lot of time. The formula has changed our university. It's like a seat and has changed it. It has helped to shape a new faculty, the business school. It has made possible to transfer between companies, knowledge, and students. It has made Technova one of the lighthouses, you say lighthouses, it's a good word, in the innovation ecosystem in Barcelona. But the true legacy, as today we can say, is people. People who have grown because of Technova. Students who discover that they could become entrepreneurs. Founders who found support, because you need a lot of support entrepreneurs. And the most important thing is we were opened, our minds were opened, and our hearts were touched by this germ, this seed of entrepreneurship. With this idea, Technova has connected the worlds, has built bridges. It has helped the university to become an active role part of the innovation. And in other words, Josep, thanks to your initial idea, Technova has started developing, and you, a new kind of La Salle. This is very important. You were like this. And we want to recognize your vision, your generosity in this special day of the 25th anniversary, your ability to inspire, your contribution to La Salle. On behalf of La Salle Campus Barcelona, Ramon University, on behalf of La Salle Technova, and on behalf and so many people who have been part of this story, we want you to give this recognition. To do that, I want to invite Jerry to come with me, and also you, Josep, come with us. This is a little recognition for you. Please come here.
Wow.
And big applause to Josep for this special day. No worse after that.
Just photo.
Just photo.
Video with you, please.
Well, it's time to photos after that because Instagram is open all the day. Let me finish.
Sure.
And after that, we can do the photos. Just a while. Josep, this recognition is for you. This recognition is for you. But also, it's a symbol for Technova. Technova is about entrepreneurship, and you are an entrepreneur. Final part. Today, we celebrate, as I said, the 25 years of La Salle Technova. But above all, we celebrate a promise for the future. Here, we saw the future. These entrepreneurs are the future. And those who are sitting here also are the future. We want to, with Technova, to keep accelerating innovation, keep connecting university, business, technology, and investment, talent and purpose, both, also purpose, and to keep supporting new generations of entrepreneurs. This is our main mission. Technova has been, is, and must continue to be a clear expression of what we want to be as a university, a technological, entrepreneurial, international, connected, and deeply, deeply human university. Thank you, everyone who has made these 25 years possible. Thank you and congratulations all the people from Technova. And may these first 25 years be only the beginning of everything that is still to come. Thank you very much, Animo, and thank you very much, Josep.
Thank you very much. Really, I didn't know nothing. I was suspecting something. I don't know why, it's of movement and so on. I don't know why Karina told me, no, Anna will come here, but why? In any case, so happy to follow the purpose of La Salle. That is education for transformation. But understanding that Saint Jean-Baptiste de La Salle 350 years ago was transforming the France of Paris in that moment. And we have to transmit and to transfer and to change this world nowadays. So happy to have this support, this endorsement, and so happy to share with you all this signal because we will be always with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hi, good to see you. Yeah, mine.
Put in the middle.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Karina.
You also, Jerome.